you should have the ability to submit questions via the chat feature. I'll be taking breaks periodically throughout this process to review the questions that have come in, and I'll address them as quick as I can. And if we get to the end and something pops in your head, go ahead and type it in, and I will answer all of the questions that have come through at the end of the session here today. Hopefully it should be pretty straightforward, but if you guys have questions that I can't get to during this session, feel free to email me or contact support, which we'll talk about during the session as well. And just another note that this session is being recorded for those who are not able to attend today, and we'll provide this in a format that is easily available to you, so you guys can watch this and review at any point if you need. So that is about all the housekeeping type stuff. We will now get started with what I was hoping to show you guys today. So again, if you have any questions, type them in the chat, and I will get to it as quick as I can. If I can't get to it, let me know after the session, and we will address it as we need. So as I discussed at the top of this is a web-based platform. You guys will have user guides to go along with this as well. So I will send this out. This is a approval user guide that we'll make available to you. Has some basic information about how to approve, how to review things. Most importantly, it has the link that you guys will be able to access the site, which is just cps.fidesic.com. That's where you're actually going to log into the site and do your approval reviews and look up all invoice data. So this information will be sent out. This is what I'll be going through in the demo more or less here today, but I wanted to let you guys know that this will be going out as well as the YouTube video of this actual presentation. So to kick things off, the first thing that we're going to have you guys do within the system, step one is we need you to sign up with the service itself. So over the next couple of days or weeks here after we get off this call, you guys will be receiving a sign up email address from our system. It's going to look more or less like this. It will be coming from the domain fidesic.com. So if you get anything from that, make sure to open it up, as that's going to be what you need to actually sign up with the process. So when you receive this email, it's going to have a link which will help you activate and validate your Fidesic account. So to sign up with the process, you're simply going to click this link, and that's going to take you to the sign up page. Now, the sign up page is great since we know what email address you've clicked this link from. And I'm using Danielle Jacobs as the example here. If you're on the call, sorry for using your name, but this is the one I happened to select. So it's going to pre-populate based on the link that you click. So you're simply going to need to create a password, authenticate this password. Very simple stuff. Security question and answer. And you're going to want to make this a secure thing that you can remember if you need to reset your account with our system. You're going to need your full first name as well as your last name. And this information is just to populate your account. Not going to be shared with anyone. This is just the base level information that we need to get you signed up with the service. So check the box to agree to the terms of service, and once you click sign up, you will then be taken to the login page with your email address already pre-populated in here. So you're now signed up for the service. You can access this again from anywhere that you have a web connection. You'll just simply direct your browser to cps.fidesic.com, and that will take you to this login screen where you can then enter your password. That's a static link, so you guys can bookmark this page. You'll be pointed back to it quite often. You will also be receiving email notifications from the system, so if you don't bookmark it or forget it, don't worry, you'll get emails that will direct you back to the page. But cps.fidesic.com is where you'll actually go to log into the system. So I'm now going to log into the system. And again, if you guys have questions, again, you have the chat feature on the side, so go ahead and use it if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about thus far. I'll get to it if I can. If you forget your password, new service, something that can definitely come up. You do have the ability to reset your password, so just click the lost your password link and you will be able to sign up accordingly. So I'm going to log in as an approval level user now and show you what's available to you within the system itself. So I am now logged in as an approval level user. The exact view that you will have might vary slightly based on your level of permission that you need within the system, but the gist of what I'm going to go through here today is going to be the same for every user that is within the system. So what we can see here is I'm under the unapproved invoices page right here, and if you want to get back to that page, if you navigate away, you'll go to tasks and then unapproved invoices, and that will take you to the page that we have here. And this page is going to contain a queue of all invoices that currently require your specific approval. So these invoices have been queued up as they're linked to your username. So everybody's invoice queue is going to contain different invoices based on what specifically they need to review.
He's fine with that.
So we've got that here. This will queue up all of your invoices. So in my example here, there's only a single invoice available to you. But if in the real world you have multiple invoices pending, all of these invoices are going to queue up on this page and enable you to review them and quickly make your approvals. At the start of this process, you will receive a notification email from our system letting them know that you have invoices within the system to approve. So as soon as something hits your queue, you will be notified via email, and that will contain a link back to the sign-in page, which will allow you to sign into the site and review as we're doing right now. Now, contained on this page, you have all the basic information. You have the vendor that this invoice is from. You have the due date, all the basic information. You have how it's GL coded. Some of you will know what that means. Some of you won't be very concerned with that. That's fine. If GL coding is something you know about, review it. If not, don't worry about it too much. You'll also, with every page within our system, you're going to have access to the PDF copy of the original invoice. So this is the copy of the invoice that was scanned and submitted to our system. So this is always available to you. Simply click that link and you'll be one click away from grabbing the PDF version of this invoice. This is a regular old PDF, so if you guys want to print it, store it locally, process it separately, you certainly have the option to do so. But again, this is always going to be one click away. Just click the PDF link here and it'll pop open for you. Now, if this invoice looks good to you, everything matches what is contained on the PDF, GL coding looks good to you if that's something you're worried about, invoice date, date entered, everything checks out. You can check the box next to this invoice here, move on to the next one, do the same level of review, check the box, move on to the next one. Once you've got all the invoices that you want to approve, you've got your approve selected option here, and this is going to move the invoices out of your queue and push them into the next approvals queue, or as it works in most cases, it's going to go up to AP after you guys review it, and they'll get a chance to review this document as well. They'll be able to see your approval and any notes that you enter as well. So if you need to approve simply like this, you can do so. Check the box next to it and click approve. If you need more information on this document, you've got a view invoice button, which will take you to a more detailed page. So I'll click that. So this is what we call the invoice detail page. This contains a little bit more information in terms of what's been going on with this invoice and where it lies within the workflow. For the most part, you guys shouldn't have to worry about where the invoice is in the workflow, since it's been designed to automatically route invoices where they need to go. But if you're curious, you can click on this workflow tab and you will be able to see where it stands within the workflow currently. So this invoice only requires a single approver. If there are multiple approvers on this, they would be listed in stages here. Some users will be able to add and remove approvers. Some users will not. vast majority of you will not need to worry about such things. Your main focus is going to be reviewing and either approving or voiding this invoice out. Aside from the workflow view, you're going to have an invoice history view, and this is going to be a time-stamped log of everything that happens to this invoice. So if you're curious who else approved it, any changes that were made to this document, you can go here to your invoice history tab and review this invoice information. And just like on the other page, we have an approve button available to you as well. So if you click that approve button, it's going to ask for you to enter some approval notes. Those notes will be passed to the next approver in the process, and that invoice will be removed from your queue, and you'll be moved to the next invoice that requires your approval here. So most of you, that's all you're going to have to do. Review the document, compare against the PDF copy, make sure that everything matches as you would expect, approve that invoice, and you're done. That invoice is out of your queue. If this is an invoice that you do not authorize, if this is wrong for some reason, if this isn't an invoice that you need to pay, you do have the void button. Be aware, voiding invoices will alert AP as well. So AP will get a chance to review invoices that you void as well. Really you're functionally saying, I don't approve, I don't authorize this expense. If somebody else does, great, but this is not my expense. I don't approve of this. Some of you will only have the option to approve and void invoices, so you just really have a yes or no option when invoices come to you. Others will have the option to adjust invoices. So from this page here, aside from approving, voiding, and reviewing, you have the adjust option, which if you click that, you will be taken to a page that has all of the captured information as well as the PDF version on hand here. Makes it easy to review and make changes. From this page, you guys have the option to change anything on it, assuming that you have the option to edit at all. So you can change the invoice number, terms, change the GL coding, add additional GL codes. So if you need to break up the invoice over multiple GL codes, you have the option to do so. This page is a lookup function. So essentially you'll start typing a GL code here and we'll segment your list down based on what's available. And then you'll just pick from the list. And sure enough, it will auto total all of your GL codes here. So if you guys need to break it up over multiple GLs, you have the option to do so. But do note, any changes that are made on this document can affect how invoices are routed. So if you add a different department or change the vendor, those invoices may be rerouted to a different approver based on how the workflow is built out. So if you have enough knowledge, you will have this ability to adjust. So you guys will have the ability to review and adjust during your approval phase. Some of you won't need this ability. You're just really authorizing that this expense is something that relates to you, and this sort of editing of invoices will be done at the accounts payable level. And we have a question, can GL codes be searched by name rather than numerical order? Yes, if you start typing the name, it also will segment. I'll have to double check to make sure that preference is enabled for you guys. But yes, search by GL name is supported. So if you start typing a name, it should segment the list that way as well. So that's the majority of what you'll need to be doing within the system. You'll be reviewing this information, comparing against the PDF that you have, and making your approvals. So if I make my approval here, we've now cleared out our approval queue, and we have nothing else that is immediately requiring our attention within the system. Beyond just being able to make approvals, you will also have the ability to review invoices that you've received. So if you click under payables here, invoices received, you will be able to see invoices as they were sent through the system. This list is going to be segmented based on invoices that relate to the location that you are in charge of. So that information will be available. And Ginger wanted to note that upon voiding an invoice, so if you do take the step to void, you are required to provide a reason for your void. So you'll get a pop-up window when you click void, and you'll have to enter a reason why you're voiding, and that information will get passed up to GP. So make sure to make it a good reason, something that's intelligible from their perspective, so they can help resolve why that invoice was voided. So make sure to enter a void note that is, makes sense for somebody up in AP. Going back to our invoices received page here, you guys will be able to see all of your invoice history. You can look up old invoices. So if you want to click on an invoice number, you'll be taken to a old version of this invoice. You'll be able to see where this is at in the workflow, a full invoice history, all the information that you saw before. Obviously, if it's not on your plate, you can't approve or void. But you're also going to have PDF information. So this is always going to be available to you on the invoices received page. If you need to look up a older invoice, this is the way to do it. This page is fully searchable and sortable. So if you want to do a search for a specific vendor name, you can do so. If you want to sort based on specific statuses, so if just things that are approved, you can sort based on that. And you also have the ability to export this list to a flat file. So from here, if you have got a list of invoices that you want to get out of Fidesic just to have as a report, go ahead and click that Export to Excel button, and you will now generate a report, which you can just save locally and have on hand. So you'll also be able to view this from a vendor list perspective. Again, this will only show invoices that relate to you, but you can search and sort for vendors, invoices received. You'll have very little admin tools available. Basically, it'll allow you to adjust your username and password, keep track of the system that way. So that's mostly what you guys are going to be doing within the system. If you have any questions about approving, voiding, or adjusting invoices at this time, go ahead and type them in, and I will give you guys a little bit of time to type that out. Make sure that there aren't any specific questions. It should be pretty straightforward. The site is fully mobile friendly, so if you access it from your mobile phone, it should work just as much. So question one, is there an iOS app? There is an app. It's an approval app. So the app doesn't support adjusting currently. If you just look up Fidesic in the iOS store, you can download it. Honestly, it's probably at this phase, the app is still pretty early in development. It's probably just as easy to use the web browser. Again, it's a mobile friendly site, so it should be pretty easy, and you should be able to do whatever you need from that mobile friendly app. Which does bring me up to my next point, which I wanted to bring up, which is what to do if you're confused, if you're having trouble, if something isn't working the way that you think it should be. Included with this service is bundled support. So you guys have access to live chat-based support. So to do so, just click down in the bottom left here and start chat. You'll be immediately connected with one of our agents. So they'll be happy to help you out via live chat. You guys also have access to phone and email-based support. Don't worry about using it. Again, it's all included with our services. So if you're having trouble, if you're confused, if anything is going on with the invoice, then with the site itself, be sure to reach out to us, and we'll address whatever concern you're having as quick as possible. It's better to get help quickly than get frustrated and get behind in your invoices. So if you're ever having an issue, make sure to do so. Question came in, how to allocate invoices over multiple locations. As Ginger addressed, only certain users will be able to split invoices over multiple locations. The user I'm logged in now will not have that ability. Marcus, it looks like you will. It's done exactly the same way. So if I pull up an invoice here, we'll go find one that's unapproved. We'll go to adjust. And what you guys will be able to do is enter your first GL code. Then you'll have a location-based drop-down here. So because this user only has one location, they only have access to this specific part of the GL segment. As a higher level user, you will have access to the full chart of accounts. So you'll just need to switch over to the location which you want to split it up on. Click add GL, and then you'll be able to enter into the second company location. So again, this user only has access to one. If you need to split up over multiple, the option to do so will be available on this adjust page. Okay. The only other thing I wanted to mention, this is largely going to be user dependent. Again, if you receive invoices directly, Jan and Ginger will provide an email address where you can submit invoices for processing. So if you're not somebody who receives invoices directly, don't worry about it. Your job will just be to approve. But if you do receive, we have set up a email Dropbox queue where invoices can be submitted, and those invoices will be pushed directly into our system for processing. So they'll provide that to the users that need that information. If you don't need that information, then obviously it won't be sent out to you. So I know I have Ginger on here. I'm not sure if I have Jan as well. That's really most of what I was hoping to get through here today. Again, keep the questions coming. So Ginger and Jan, I see you guys on chat. Do you guys have anything that you want to say at the end of this? I can open it up to you if you want. So I think you guys should be on chat now. Are you there? Yep. Input description. Absolutely. So if we go to our unapproved invoice again here, so what we have enabled with your guys' system specifically is the requirement of invoice description. So if there isn't already an invoice description on an invoice, you're going to have to go to the adjust page here and enter your description to go along with it. This information is going to be included during the entire approval process, and it's going to make its way over to Dynamics GP as well. So this is a very important field for you guys to populate. If it's not already pre-populated by the time an invoice gets to you, it is going to be a required field. So you will not have the option to approve invoices until there's a description that goes along with it. So again, it's under the adjust function. So on an invoice detail page, you'll click the adjust button here. And if it's in your unapproved invoices queue, and actually, let me put it back in the queue to show you what that process looks like. Give me 1 second. I'll just show you both ways to do it. Give me 1 second, guys. Just want to show you exactly what the process looks like for you so you know. So if we look at this page here, you'll see invoice cannot be approved until a valid description is on file. So if you guys see this messaging, make sure to go ahead and adjust. And like I mentioned before, enter the description. So that will be required. Once you save it, you'll then be able to approve. So we do need you to enter description so they have the ability. And Jan and Ginger will also provide examples of what these descriptions should contain. I'm not exactly certain what they're looking for, but they'll provide you that information to make it available to you. Any other questions? So if nothing pressing, we can wrap it up right now. Again, this information will be available. We'll do a unlisted YouTube site that you guys can go to if you need to watch this again. I'll provide some documentation. If you have any questions about the accounting impacts of this, contact Ginger and Jan. They'll be happy to help you out. If you have any questions in general, let them know, and if nothing else, they can pass it to me, and I'll be happy to answer as you guys need. So that's about it. I really appreciate your time. If you guys have any questions, let us know, and good luck, and try to enjoy.